We're at SMTConnect in Nuremberg 2023. I'm joined by Miles from KIC. Thanks for coming over and good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
I think it was Apex we spoke last, wasn't it? Yeah, which seems about 5 minutes ago, although the speed the industry is changing at, there's something new all the time, isn't there? So, how's this show been for you?
It's, coming in, we expected it to be a little smaller or slower than usual just because it's a Productronica year.
Yeah.
There's some companies that ended up not coming here. So, but, I always look at it as, did our customers or some potential customers, did we get enough that it was worthwhile? And I think we've reached that goal.
Yeah.
So, especially it's more a regional show now on Germany, and it's an important market for us. So it was important for us to be here, even if it is a little less attended.
Yeah. I mean, I think we were talking last time a little bit about reshoring or friendshoring, as we're talking about it these days.
Yeah.
We're living in strange times, but do you find that those sort of regional shows are more important now because you've got centres in Europe and South America?
Yeah, actually, we see it. I'm starting to see it here through my distributors. The local shows that they participate in are a little more attended.
Yeah.
We see it in the U.S. and Mexico. The SMTA has a lot of chapters and regional shows, and those are becoming more popular. I think it's an easy way for the manufacturer to get information on new technology without having to make a big trip somewhere.
True. Yeah. So what kind of things are you talking to people about these days? You've had some new bits at Apex and probably got a few things up your sleeve for Productronica this year.
Well, for this show in particular, my topic, because I spoke at the Speakers Forum yesterday, and was talking about automation, but in terms of the labor shortage, which is really impacted in Europe and in North America. So how can automation, and from our viewpoint, how does automatic profiling is the automation, how can that help if you're finding it hard to get technicians or engineers, and kind of making the case that through the automation, even though you may even be a smaller company, don't really need automation, you can get value from it because you're finding it hard to get people working. That was kind of a topic of discussion that I've kind of been bringing out of there's technology that can overcome those problems. And then looking forward toward the end of the year, we have a couple of projects that we've been working on that we're going to introduce with more impactful next generation stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And it's interesting that, isn't it? Because whenever we were talking about smart factories, lights out factories, Industry 4.0, all these things, it was always the assumption was it was always big lines, big manufacturers. That's where it was going to be. But actually, automation, like you say, works right down to sort of mom and pop.
Yeah, it could be a one-line setup.
Yeah.
And then, especially some of those smaller shops, maybe they have 2 or 3 lines, and they reach a point where I know in the U.S., if you have 50 employees, then you go above that, then there's more regulations, more reporting, more taxes. Yeah. So there's a certain benefit to keeping the employee count down and automating things. Yeah. So, like you say, you wouldn't think a mom and pop shop who has lower margins or something, they don't need all that automation stuff, all that fancy stuff, but actually it's a very effective way of doing business.
Yeah. And do you find that it isn't just that automation also brings benefits of efficiency, reduced downtime, all of those sort of things which everyone is, we constantly talk about, refinements in inspection, right through to even picking in components to start with. It's all about driving efficiency, isn't it? And that doesn't matter what size business you are. That's what you want.
Yeah, you're always looking for those types of solutions. That they may be some brand new technology. It shouldn't matter. It still can apply to you, even if you're a small shop.
Yeah. And do you I mean, again, with the reshoring and everything that's going on, do you think will we see an expansion in the size of businesses that already exist, kind of thing? That gives them the ability to expand, or are we going to see new players come into the field? Do you think? Because there is an issue where you can have a business be set up in a country off its own back, which is a totally new business, but then you've also got businesses in other countries looking to open centres in other areas, other markets, to expand and be closer to there, so the supply chain is all reduced.
Well, yeah, I've even talking yesterday to a company. It was interesting, is in India,
right?
And you would think, okay, that's a market where there's going to be more lines going, but that company actually wants to do some of its operations in the United States,
right,
or in Europe.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to get into the same situation that happened in China. Well, yeah, we could build up India, massive plants and everything, and if there's a supply chain issue or something, and a big change or disruption to the market, they're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
So they're already planning, saying, we're not just going to expand and be the low-cost market in India. We're actually going to start look at doing operations as an EMS company in a low-cost market, going to the higher-cost market and having capability there.
Yeah.
Because that meets their customer needs.
It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because it did sting the industry quite badly, didn't it? So
yeah.
It's like, it's interesting to see it learning from it.
Now, yeah, they're like kind of
we're not going to get caught like that again.
Yeah. What do we do next time?
Yeah. And where do you see it going? The US is investing billions in reshoring and actually also in skills. I mean, the federal government, I think, has put $120 billion into STEM subjects in schools and colleges, haven't it? Do you think that will help to sort of redress the balance? Or is this industry, the electronics production, a little bit of an invisible industry in some ways? It's not as sexy as some other ones, is it? We've got problems.
And it depends on the region you go to.
Right.
But yeah, there is. I was at a symposium about advanced packaging, more on the semiconductor side, and how from the 90s, how dominant the U.S. was to now. A lot of the design happens there, but all the manufacturing is mostly done in Taiwan or Korea.
Yeah.
And what would it take to reshore that? And one of the key components is, we get the technology, we start building up the factories, but you need the people, right, who have the skills. So, and that could take just as long or longer to develop that pipeline of talent.
Yeah.
So it's a complex thing to do,
Yeah. But certain things are starting to happen, aren't they? So it's promising.
Yeah, I think they've recognized the problems, right? First recognize your problems and then start to address.
Exactly, yeah. Well, I hope the rest of the show is successful for you.
I think it gives a good opportunity too. The conversations can be a little bit longer. It's not just a packed booth, although we would like a packed booth. So it's a different type of show for us, but important for us nonetheless because of the market it's in.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be pretty pleased.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for spending time to talk to us. Good to see you as ever, and we'll see you at Products Rocket.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.